Are you a basketball player that feels pretty good about themselves coming into this season? Maybe over the summer you played some AAU or some summer league games and you had some 15, 20-point games, maybe some 25-point games, and you're going, man, I had some really good games. Maybe you're thinking pretty great games. And your parents are telling you, yeah, you scored 20 points. You had a great game. You should feel great about yourself. Well, today we're going to talk about how coaches might view that game that you thought was so good, and maybe they think it was good, or maybe they might think that wasn't such a good game. So I'm going to let you behind the curtain a little bit in how coaches think about games and about performances of players. So let's jump in and discuss. Welcome back to Hard Smart Together. I'm Coach Dave. I'm here every week to help basketball players become the smart, confident players that coaches love. So today we're talking about how you feel about yourself as a player, maybe going into the season. Maybe it's based off some performances you had at the end of last season. Maybe it's some performances that you had over the summer. Maybe you scored 15, 20 points, and you felt pretty good about yourself, and you're telling your parents are telling you, you're telling your parents, man, I feel pretty good. I'm becoming quite a good player, and you're feeling really confident going into next season. Now that confidence might be warranted. You might be a really good player right now, or in a coach's eyes, you might not be. And those performances that you went home feeling, I had a really good game, in a coach's eyes, might not be such a good game. So today, like I said, I'm going to let you behind the curtain on how a coach thinks, because if you're going to become a consistently good player, if you're going to be one of those players that coaches love, if you're going to be a smart player, you have to learn to think a little bit like a coach, and you have to learn to evaluate your performance in a game like a coach. So today is just kind of a little litany of a few of the 1,000 things that a coach looks at in your performance and you might not be thinking about. So, number one, did you make it hard on the other team to score? Okay? You could have a really good defensive game, even if the player you were guarding scored a lot of points. Maybe they're the other team's star player. But did you make it hard on them? Did you make it difficult for the player you were guarding to score? Did you make it difficult for the other team to score? And you're never going to stop a team from scoring completely, but did you adhere to your coach's defensive philosophy? Did you play within the defensive scheme? Did you make it difficult when you were guarding one-on-one with a player? Okay, that's one of the things the coach might look at. Did you help your teammates be better defenders? Were you in great help position? Did you communicate with your teammates about the defensive assignments? Okay, did you make it easier for your teammates to guard the players they were guarding? Okay, another little thing that coaches look at. Did you consistently sprint back on defense? Notice I said consistently, because really great players consistently do these things. Or did you sprint back a couple of times, but a couple of times you're like, I'm not really in the play, I'm not going to get back. Yeah, you scored 20 points, but were you sprinting back on defense? Did you consistently crash the offensive boards? Did you crash the offensive boards? Maybe your coach really emphasizes crashing the offensive boards. Were you, now if you're assigned to get back on defense and transition, that's a different story. But if not, did you crash the offensive boards? Did you box out each time? Did you make contact with another player, whether it's the person you're guarding or somebody else? Did you make contact on every shot on a defensive rebound in order to secure the defensive rebound and complete the defensive possession. How was your shot selection? You scored 20 points, but did you go, Hey, I'll get back to the episode in just a second. I hope you're enjoying today's episode, and if you are, please share it. Share it with a player, share it with a parent, share it with a coach, anybody that you feel might need to hear it. I also wanted to give you a free gift that I've made available to you just for hanging out with me today. It's a checklist of skills for basketball players that want to become a better player, a better teammate, and to stand out to their coaches. Now, these skills are skills that are often overlooked, but they can be the foundation that a player can use to really achieve their goals. You can download it at hardsmarttogether.com/intangibles. I'll put a link below in the description as well, but it's hardsmarttogether.com/intangibles. Now let's jump back to today's episode. 10 for 35, and maybe your shooting percentage was great, but did you take the right shots at the right time of the game? Was there some critical moments in the game where possessions needed to be extended and you came down and took a quick three on the break? And your coach was probably sitting on the sideline pulling their hair out? Okay. Yeah, you scored 20 points. You had a pretty good game. But did you do these things? Maybe you did. Maybe you had a good game. Maybe not. Think like a coach. What are some other things? I mentioned communicating on defense. Did you communicate with your team on defense, on offense, on the sideline, when you were on the bench, in the huddle, in a positive fashion? Did you help your team by communicating? Did you use names? Did you use reminders? There was a lot of things that you could do from a communication standpoint. Did you have a good game? Did you support your teammates? Maybe when your teammates, made a bad play, did you build them back up? When a teammate took a charge, were you over there to help them up? Were you congratulating? Were you celebrating the wins that your teammates had on the court? Were you acknowledging the assist that people gave you, that the players gave you in order to score those 20 points? Or did you not? Did you have a good game or did you not? How did you interact with the referees? How did you interact with the other team? Did you argue with the referees? You scored 20 points, but you argued with the referees. Maybe you got a technical foul. That's not such a great game. I'm sure your coach has a code of conduct of how they want you to interact with referees, to act with officials, to act with the other team, to respect the other team, to respect the other coaches. Did you have a good game? Did you try and show up the other team? Coaches aren't big fans of that. They don't mind you making great plays, but taunting, talking smack, those kind of things. Did you have a good game or did you not have a good game? So this is just a really small sample of the things that go through coaches' minds as they're evaluating a performance. And so the next time you step off the court and you're feeling pretty good about yourself and you're saying, man, I had a pretty good game, reflect on some of these things that we talked about and some of the things I talk about in other videos, both past and going forward, and think to yourself, did I play smart? Was that a performance that my coach would love? Was that really a good game? Do I just think it's a good game because I scored a lot of points? So just a couple of reminders. Start thinking like a coach and you will start becoming one of those players that coaches love. Always like the likes, always like the comments. If this was helpful, please leave a comment below and let me know if it's helpful. If there's anything else you'd like to see as far as topics, something you're challenged with, something you're struggling with on your basketball journey, put a note below and let me know. This is something I'm struggling with. I'd like to see in a future video. I'll be sure to include it. And Until next week, remember to play hard, play smart, and play together. See you next week.